Hi, friends. Welcome to the Mastermind Moments podcast.
Hosted by your pals, Josh and Sasha.
Join us during our weekly mastermind as we collaborate on how to make the most out of our lives.
Not only are we going to mastermind our careers, we're going to work on all areas of life together.
Let's do it. Listen in as we make the most of our mastermind moments.
Hello. Hi.
Hello, hi stranger.
Oh, it's so good to see you. How are you doing? Are you still like jet lagged or what's going on?
Do you know what? I'm pretty much caught up on jet lag. I think the last couple of days I've actually slept, which is good. I didn't help myself last night. We went out to a rave, and so I'm a little bit hungover, and alcohol obviously doesn't help the quality of sleep. But no, I'm good. I'm caught up. I'm all good. How are you?
I'm great. So good. Have we talked since I've been in LA or no?
Not on the pod, no.
No. Yeah, I'm great. I'm amazing. I'm so happy. Things are great. I'm also like I'm recovering from yesterday. Not that I drank a lot, but I did drink and went out last night and the night before. I went out with Bella the night before.
Yeah,
And I went out last night too, but not like out, not out late, but enough where I'm just like a little tired and groggy today, but we're here.
we're here, and that's what matters. Showing up.
Exactly, showing up. So I've decided to take it into my own hands, and we are not going to do the wheel today.
Yeah, no, that's
We're
fair.
we're doing a different segment. Number one, to celebrate our 75th episode, but second of all, because I just had this realization hit me like a lightning strike. For the listeners at home, okay? I joined a mastermind and I had to ask my inner circle loved one questions about me. So that it's a mirror of the people who love you and see you the most is that question. So Josh took the time and sent me like the answers to these questions, and oh my god, they tugged my heartstrings. And I was like, you know what? Fuck the wheel. Fuck the rules. We're here for a good time, not a long time. So I'm deciding to take over our opening segment and I answer the same questions for you.
No, okay, nice.
Yeah, so that's what we're doing today instead of the wheel. Okay,
Oh,
so
sweet.
number one, yeah, let's get all the warm and fuzzies. Okay, number one, here's the question. If you suddenly disappeared, what unique thing about you would I miss the most? Which, first of all, I wrote notes for this days ago, so who the hell knows like how it's gonna go. For me personally, like your consistent support and care. Anytime I'm going through anything ever, I'm voice messaging you if we're not talking about it on the podcast, but like typically it's, you're one of the first people I'm talking to about anything and everything in my life. And you're always like so supportive and giving a fuck. Even if I'm waffling and talking for 20 minutes straight, you always are like listening and you're the best cheerleader from afar, always. And like I talk through everything about my life with you. So like we mastermind through everything. So like your guidance and perspective, I would be so lost without it. My therapist is like, what did Josh say about the situation? You guys are always on the same page. Okay. So what do I think you do better than almost anyone I know? Sorry, I also am like rereading these in real time. Okay, pivoting. You pivot again and again and again, and you like change your mind and you change your direction, but you always do it with grace and swag for the most part. Like sometimes there's like there's rockiness,
Swag.
but swag. You're like, yeah, gonna up and move to Dubai, boom. Gonna change careers, boom. And you just pivot and you change your mind. And sometimes it's impulsive, and like when you commit to it, you pivot and you do it, which is like pretty cool because I think a lot of people are really scared to change and to change their mind to like actively make a different decision, but you're not like that. You'll change your mind, you'll make a decision, and you pivot, which is pretty cool. Where do I think you make your work/job/life harder than it needs to be? I'd say your commitment, consistency, and you're breaking promises to yourself. Like you dabbled in so many things that it's been so great. You've learned lessons, but as soon as you commit to something and you're consistent with something, it's absolutely magic. And I had your example of your relationship, your work, your health. When you committed to going to the gym every day, like that's when magic happened. Your meditation, when you committed to meditating every day, magic happens. Same thing with your consistency for your mood, for your BPD. Like when you commit and like you're consistent, like it all works. And then also to like being clean with your gambling too. Like as soon as you like make the decision and resolve it, like everything snaps. But before that, like without the consistency in the decision, you're just kind of like, I know what I need to do, but I'm not doing it.
The catchphrase, yeah.
The catch, exactly. And I'm like, I don't want, stop saying the catchphrase. You know what I mean? Like, we need to just do the thing. Okay. What feels obvious to me about your strengths that maybe you don't see? I think your capability to do everything you want with creative solutions. And I think we'll get into that like later in the episode, but I think you can do it all. I think you just like creativity about how you can make it all work. And you've done it for the most part with, I think you've done it in some areas, but not all of them. And then it's like just picking it up. Okay. If you were a superhero in a movie, what would your power be and why? I think shapeshifter. It's the same thing as like pivoting. Like you'll pivot and you'll change directions. But even like seeing you like can shapeshift based on the situation too. So, you know, if you're at a festival, Josh is so different from work Josh, and it's so different from Josh and your like family Josh versus the one in the relationship. Like they're all like you're the core of the same person, but you can like change depending on the situation. You know what I mean? And same thing with you pivoting in life. Like you can just be like, okay, new decision, new life. Here we go, new version. We're pivoting. We're shaping shit. We're shaping shit. Shifting words.
Shaping words. Shit. Yeah. I mean, that works as well. Yeah.
Yeah, something like that. Okay. What's something you undervalue about yourself that I wish you'd celebrate more of? I think your ability to connect to anybody. I've seen it firsthand. Like when you decide that you're going to be a social person, like at festivals or like when you're like on calls with people for your work, whatever, like your ability to connect with people, you're so good at it. And like your kick-ass at just like talking and connecting in general. We're also seeing that with your social media too, as you're putting out content out there, like your ability to like really build that one-on-one connection, even if it's someone who doesn't know you through a screen, even if it's your close friends or your like people you're selling to or whoever, like your ability to get that connection is really, really special. And I don't think you see that a lot, especially unless you're just like, yeah, bruh, nice shirt. You having a good time? Except with the exception of bouncers and people who want to punch you in the face. You're not good at connecting with those people for some. It's one way or the other. Like people either love you and they're so connected to you. You're very polarizing. We know this too about your social media. Like people either love you or just want to punch you in the face. And you know what? It's a sign you're doing something right.
That's such an interesting one. Last night is like a prime example of that.
Oh my God.
I think I went into last night kind of feeling really, I guess, is antisocial the right word? I suppose antisocial. I just didn't want to talk to anyone, which is unusual for me at a rave, but I was just tired and I was just drinking extra substances, which usually bring out a different side of me. And we arrived and instantly there was a bad vibe. Like we went to the bar. The bar guy tried to charge us his own personal account, not the club's account. So he gave us like his card thing, and we realized, we were like, this is going to your own personal account. What the fuck? So there's kind of a bad precedent being set. And then while we were at the bar, I kind of like stepped next to Savita just to be next to her. I think I accidentally like very slightly nudged this guy next to me. And I just noticed that he was just staring at me. Like he was just staring me down. And I was like, damn, what do I do? And then I turned around to leave the bar and he looked at me and I was like, and I looked at him and I said, hey, I smiled at him. He said, what's up, bro? Are we good? I said, yeah. And he was very clearly looking for a fight. And I was like, I'm not having a fight right now. And he said, yeah. Do we have a problem? I said, no. I said, are you having a good time? And he said, yeah, I'm having a great time. Are you enjoying Bangalore? And I said, yeah, and I'm loving Bangalore. I think it's a great city. And the people are amazing. I love the people. And I like patted him on the back. And he went, oh, I'm so glad to hear it. Do you want a cigarette? And I was like, no, thank you. And he said, okay, you have a good night. And I said, you have a good night too. And we shook hands and walked away. And I diffused the situation so perfectly. I was so proud of myself. And after that, I felt like I could do anything. As in, I could talk to anyone. I could diffuse any situation. And I made loads of friends in the end. So that was the switch. I decided that I was going to be social after diffusing a fight. And I feel like that's a perfect story to describe what you just said.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. And okay, it's crazy because it connects to the next question too. Um, if you doubled down on one strength you have, what would make you happier and more successful? This was the last question. I said doing the damn thing, which goes back to your catchphrase, but I also said communication. Like, for example, with your roommates, especially like how you can connect to people. If you double down on that strength, the same thing with the story you just said, like you can connect really, really well instead of doing something over text, like you're doing it in person, whatever. And if you're not tapping into that strength, you're making your life harder. And that like your and same thing, like your commitment and consistency. So same thing with your like your relationship, your work, your health, meditation, consistency with your move for BPD, and like commitment to your like being clean of gambling. Yeah. So those are your answers. There you go.
I love it. I love it. Thank you so much for doing that. And because obviously I came to you and I said I would love to do this exercise, but I genuinely, I wouldn't say I'm going through a crisis, but I think since I said that to you, and since we had that kind of short back and forth, I've really been thinking about, damn, like I need to change my peer group, and I need to really think about when I come back from the UK, finding more inspiring people to be around. Not even inspiring, but just people who I feel like can have that level of conversation with. And I spoke about this with Savita, and I was like, other than you, other than Savita and you, Sasha, I don't know if I could ask anyone those questions that would actually know me enough and answer honestly and not laugh about it. And so, yeah, thank you for doing that. It's really interesting to hear like the general theme. It's a really cool exercise. I think for me, the theme actually throughout everything you said, in everything, whether it's being social, whether it's being creative, is doing the thing, right? And actually switching it on, I think is the right way of putting it. Switching it on. So switching it on socially, switching it on creatively, switching it on and actually working and doing it. So yeah, I think I do have an issue with switching it on at times. And I think it's just important to remind myself that when I do switch it on, I'm capable of anything. And I
We
have
saw
that
last
creative
night.
side. Yeah, exactly. Literally, especially socially. When you mentioned that, I was like, yeah, damn. I would honestly say these days I've stepped into more of an introverted side, which is crazy considering how I've lived the last few years.
Yeah.
Um, and like I go out a lot of the time and I'm like, okay, I want to see my friends for a couple of hours and go home. I don't want to be out for too long. I need my own space. I don't want to be making new friends. I'm not interested in that. But then there have been times recently where I've gone out and I'm like, I don't want to go out, but mentally I make that switch where I go, yeah, okay, I'm gonna be super social today, super outgoing, extroverted, and yeah, I'm able to do it if I make that decision in my head. Yeah, it's yeah, very interesting to hear you say that.
Yeah. Yeah. It's definitely a really cool exercise for sure. It's interesting too that you mentioned like being really intentional about your peer group and the people that you ask, because I didn't really think about it until you brought it up actually. Because for me, when this assignment was prompted to me, they're like, okay, just make a list of the people who know you most. I said 12 people. I actually sent this out to 10 people, and I didn't really think back and sit on, okay, who are these 12 people in my life, and because really if these are the people I'm asking, they are the mirror to me. So like I'm an average of these 12 people, right? Really, and even though I might not speak to them every day, one of the people I reached out to was Steph, who we had on the podcast, and we don't talk every day. Like we talk maybe right now like once every couple months, but we go through Facebook, we've talked a lot. So it might not be like the people in my immediate sphere, but okay, I'm an average of these 12 people, and I think about it and I'm like, I'm inspired by all of these people in very different ways, but I can't say, yeah, for very different ways.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
definitely. It's not necessarily about being inspired either. I think it's just people. To be honest, I think my big issue at the moment is being around people who inspire me, people who are bigger and better and smarter, who push you to be better. I had a really interesting analogy recently. Do you know what? I don't remember where it came from, but it was something really silly. I think it was like a movie or a comedy or something. And oh, that's right. It's from I Love LA. Have you seen that show?
No.
Okay, it's a show that came out last year. It's really good. Obviously, it's about LA and these kind of it's like a coming of age, but these kind of girls in their early 20s who are trying to make it in LA. They've moved from New
So
York.
basically me and Bella.
Basically, you and Bella, yeah, exactly. And Bella recommended it to me actually, and it's a really good show. But in one of the episodes, there's this girl who's like this super mega influencer, and she goes to a huge dinner, like networking event in New York, and one of the designers at the party says to her, "How does it feel being a small fish in a big pond?" And she gets really offended. She's like, "I'm a big fish. What are you talking about? I'm a big fish." She wants to be this big fish. And she gets offended, and the whole episode is her being upset about it. But her friend at one point turns to her and goes, "But small fishes in big ponds grow bigger because they have more space to grow." And I thought that was, it's just a comedy, and it was a silly comment that she was making. It was meant to be silly, but that really stuck with me because I was like, right
Yeah.
now, I am a big fish in a small pond, surrounded by small fishes, and that's not going to make me grow. And actually, if you think about the analogy properly, it's true. Small fish in bigger ponds, they do grow bigger because they have more space to grow. And I think it is a good thing to be a small fish in a big pond, just because if you're surrounded by bigger fish, if you're surrounded by a bigger environment, bigger space, you have that room to grow. And I really need that. I think that's something I've been lacking over recent years. So yeah, it's something I need to change for sure.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. It's something I'm thinking about it too. The same thing. Because it's like all these people I ask inspire me in different ways, but not like over. There are some people who like overall inspire me, or wow, in general, like this is the type of life I'd like to live. But I don't really feel that way about any one which person within my inner circle. It's more just like pieces of everyone's life that I find inspiring or uplifting, not necessarily someone's life as a whole, which I guess I don't know. It's just an interesting exercise. Like I do have a pal where her life as a whole, I'm like, wow, I'm really inspired by this person. Like I feel really like lifted being around this person, but she wasn't one of my 12 because we just don't talk enough. Like she doesn't know me well enough to know the answers to these questions, but just something to think about in general. Moving into everything. So for listeners, Josh and I we're at this like very big transitional time in general with both of our careers, with life. We're both literally in our physical environments, we're in very transitional phases. In our careers, we're in very transitional phases. Like everything, health, like relationships, like everything right now is at this like really beautiful, I don't want to call it a tipping point, but it's just year of the horse, right? Like things are really coming up and really changing, and something that we wanted to chat about and chat through and mastermind through were all the different scenarios on this pod about like how we want to take it, because it is like work and it is a business, and it's something that we need to go back and forth with. I guess like my first question, because this is something I've been sitting on, what is like absolute best case scenario for you
With the podcast. So I mean,
with just all of this?
yeah,
I'd say like
absolutely.
work and pod.
Yeah. So right now I'm obviously, as we discussed plenty on the podcast, in a position where I've started my own personal thing related to gambling addiction recovery. And that over the last couple of weeks has really taken off in a way that I wasn't expecting.
Yeah.
I had a great start, and I gained followers very quickly. I gained big views very quickly, especially on TikTok. And it got taken to a different dimension this week or last week, when I started to appear in UK news outlets and even American ones. Like I was showing up on gambling news in the US and all over the UK. And then I'd been invited on this major morning talk show in the UK. And it's just taking off, yeah, as I say, in a way that I didn't expect this quickly. It's so interesting, actually. I say that now, but if I look back to January when I was having to take drastic action, I had this vision, I had this dream. I was like, okay, by the time I go to India in April, yeah, it's April? Yeah, in April. By the time I go to India in April, I am going to be in a position where I've gone viral, where things are working out, where I don't need to get another job, And now I do have to start this other job because of Savita's visa. I need to be in a full-time employment and prove a certain level of income in order to be able to sponsor her, basically. But so I'm not going to be able to do this full time yet, but I'm not far off it. And once we've got the visa, it probably won't be very long before I do. And my psychic told me a couple of days ago that I probably need to give it another 8 months. So basically until the end of the year, and then I'll be in a position where it's really thriving.
Yeah.
So that's really exciting. And that right now is my biggest goal. I want to be in a position where that has taken off. I'm a big name in that world, and I firmly believe it's going to happen based on the first. I guess it's been about 3 months now, almost 3 months next week, which is crazy. Time flies.
It's so
But
crazy.
yeah. So that's my biggest goal is making that work and really impacting people and helping people. Now, in the meantime, as I said, I do need to be working this full-time job. That is important. And I've gone into this full-time job, as we've discussed, feeling that I can take on the world, feeling that I can really make something of it and make good money doing it. And so I've become really excited about it. I'm like, you know what? As a 9 to 5, until things take off with the gambling recovery stuff, it's absolutely fine. Like it, and I have to do it for the visa, or I have to do it to be making like decent money and to be able to live until the gambling takes off. So those are my two kind of main areas of focus right now. And so best case scenario, like looking down the line, what my dream would be to ditch the full-time job and to just have anything that complements my personal brands. Just like you said about yourself, and because
Yeah.
you with pitching your podcast and pitching yourself as a personal brand. And if you've obviously the discussion we've had privately has been cleaning everything up, right? And making sure that everything is ticking from your end. And I think we've discussed this so many times. The podcast complements what we're both doing massively.
Yeah.
But right now, my dilemma is so no, I'll get to that in a second. So best case scenario, to finish that
Yeah.
point.
Best case scenario.
Yes, best case scenario is to be doing the podcast alongside. Okay, no, I'm going to rephrase that. Best case scenario is to be doing my gambling addiction recovery stuff full time.
Yes.
And anything that complements that. And that includes the podcast, right? Because the podcast really does. And whether we're making good money from the podcast or not, it's, in my mind, it's a personal development thing. We're talking about masterminding our lives and motivational, inspirational stuff, which are all the hashtags I always use on Instagram for our posts. So yeah, the podcast, I want to make it work. Of course I do. And I think we've discussed that before, and I love the podcast a bit. So yeah, best case scenario, I'm doing it full time, even if we're not making much money from it. I think it bolsters both of our brands.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. I mean, for me, best case scenario is very similar to yours, honestly. Like, I think you and I, and it's so cool, actually, if you zoom out and look at both of our situations, like, we are mirrors of each other on other opposite sides of the world. Like, we both have 9 to 5 jobs that we enjoy and that sustain our lives and that enable us to live and to whatever. And we enjoy both of them. We like what we're doing. Teams overall pretty good. Like overall have it really good. And we both have personal brands that we want to build and take full time. Me with my podcast pitching it, you with your gambling addiction. And then we have this podcast, which is like this little magic bridge that lives between two wormholes, And in this magic bridge, we have therapy, we have like best friend time, and we mastermind and work through. And this is the whole point of the mastermind, which is the craziest thing, is that we've been talking all this shit into existence. And for me, best case scenario is that we both can do our own personal brands and take those full time successfully, and then have this podcast be the bridge in between. In my best case scenario, which I'm just going to speak it out there, and I don't know logistically how that would work with you and Savita, but I'm just going to throw it out there. My best case scenario, especially with Bella pitching this movie and the network that I'm trying to go to, having a film and television department, I'm hoping that that can be a part of it as well, and like
Mhm.
production for that. And my dream life would be you and Savita to come out here too, and for
Oh
all
my
of us
God.
to live happily ever after in LA in the beautiful sunshine, helping addicts get their shit together and helping athletes enjoy their fucking lives and just have the best dandy old time, and everything happens, like the movie happens and the pod happens and the book happens and the gambling addiction shit happens, and this is like my dream. This is my dream, Sasha's Barbie dream world, okay? This is my best case scenario. I don't know how that would work logistically with you and Savita, especially with like visas and whatever, but I'm just saying that's my dream. Which, listen, who knows? Life is long, okay?
Life is long. And on that as well, I've spoken a lot about where we want to live. I'd mentioned the US a couple of times, and every time she's, no, no, I don't want my kids to die. And I'm like, how likely is that to happen? She gets really like worried about guns and stuff. And I think especially with the state of the US right now, I think she hates Trump, as I'm sure many Americans do, but she really hates him. So I don't think she would consider it right now. But my plan, and we've discussed this recently, is to next year or towards the end of this year do a trip to New York to see my family, and then fly over to LA to see Ella. And maybe on that trip, maybe I can
Maybe on
convince
that
her.
whip
We'll
trip
see.
will change her mind. Yeah.
Exactly.
I'll
Yeah.
work the angles with my girl. Like I'll make it happen. I'm not worried. If we could all just live happily ever after in LA, that would just make my entire life. That would be my dream. But whatever, we'll figure it out. Doesn't really. This is just like big dreaming. But as far as like the podcast, I was sitting through all the scenario. I was thinking about all of the scenarios, and really the challenge I think we're coming up with, which this really only came up because I put you on a deadline, and this is probably going to be the first and last time I'm ever going to do it because I'm pitching the podcast and want anything my name is associated with to look really clean. And I think just like the time constraint on it might have spooked you a little because it's just not something that you're ever used to. With me, I'm just like, you know what, do the marketing. I don't care what it is, just do something. And that's always been the case up until now. But I think like with you, with the job and the business, like in your travels right now, like you don't have to tell anyone how, you don't have to tell anybody how hard that life is. I know that life. I've lived that life. I live that life now. But what I'm thinking and what I was masterminding through, because what I'm understanding is that it's like the marketing of it, it takes time. I know how much time it takes because I do it for my other podcast. I'm wondering if with this kind of time and bandwidth constraint, because we both want to continue to do the podcast and record regardless, for you, it's like a time and energy situation with the thing. I think we could potentially consider taking on an intern for you to do for them to do the marketing, and you could just basically approve the work and like they do it, and that way it like buys back all that time. So really all you have to do is pop on here, record, and just tell that person, hey, I don't know if they would live under me or under you, but like, hey, post, this looks good, blah, 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 or whatever. Or if that would be me, I'm not sure. But just to get someone to offset that workload for you, at least until you have more unless you had more like bandwidth to take it on, or if that's something that I would take on, I'm not sure. But that's where my head's at right now as far as like alleviating that, like that kind of bottleneck for you.
Yeah, I mean, it's an interesting point, and I think it's an amazing idea in terms of that solves the time issue. You're absolutely right, and we discussed this on voice message a couple of days ago. For me, the big issue is, first of all, I love the podcast. I love doing this with you, not just from a business perspective or from a grounding perspective. More than any of that, like 100 times more than any of that, it's just grounding and therapeutic. And I love doing this. We come off these calls, and I think we both just feel like we can breathe.
Yeah.
Honestly, like
It's like
that's the
therapy.
best way to describe it. Yeah, I feel like I come off these calls and I just go, like I've released all that negative energy. It's so nice.
Yeah.
You need therapy when we have a podcast. But yeah, so I want to keep doing it regardless of whether it complements anything or turns into anything money making. The issue for me is right now, yes, you put deadlines on it, but I think there's a level of work that I've been used to over the last couple of months in particular when I've been posting every day for the social media. And then you asked me to do a bunch of things, which is absolutely fair. And realistically, that's not a big job. It is a big job. I could probably do the whole thing in a couple of hours once the covers are made. So that's the thing I think I'd struggle with for the social media. But yeah, I think what spooks me is that, yeah, I don't have the time to be doing that kind of level right now when I'm in India and I'm traveling. I'm doing stuff every day and I'm here to be with Savita's family. So I can't be spending much time away working, which I've realized in the first week after settling a bit. I was hoping that I could disappear for multiple hours and just do work, but it's difficult because the reason I am here really is to be spending time with the family. And maybe as time goes on, that'll get less important once I've really sort of spent time with them and they understand that I need to go off and work. But just right now, it's scared me because, yeah, I don't have the bandwidth for it. And then it got me thinking about, okay, further down the line, when I come back in 5, 6 weeks, and I'm working a full-time job. In this job, I will be working solidly 9 till 5:30 every single day. So I won't have time to record or to do marketing or anything extra during the day. And then after work, because of the way that things are taking off with my personal brand, it's going crazy. And by then it'll be even more crazy. That's what will be my focus after work and even before work. I'm going to have to start waking up early in order to fit all of this into my day.
6 a.m.
It's not 6:06. I think that's a stretch. You showed me up a couple of weeks ago by waking up at 6:06, and I'm not sure if I have the ability for that, but maybe 7 a.m. 7:07.
Yeah.
So yeah, but anyway, I'm gonna have to start waking up early to fit all of this into I just have to, like, it's not a negotiable at this point. But as I said earlier on, right now I have to be doing the full-time job, mostly for visa purposes, but also to make bread while I'm not making bread from the other options. And then the other thing is the gambling addiction stuff, which is, as I've said before, I feel like it's my calling. I feel like this is my thing. And so I really have to be making that work and I have to be working on that. And unfortunately, despite no matter how important the podcast is to me, right now it does just fall behind those two in the priority lists.
Yeah.
So timing wise, I have to prioritize those two when I'm back. And so I think I was just like, damn, like even with the level of work I've been doing recently, how am I going to have time for that? And even I was panicking, thinking even time to record, like how am I going to be able to find an hour each week or however frequently we do it to record at certain times? And in the recording, I've been thinking about it. Obviously, I can make it work. And the podcast, I have to, in a way, even prioritize it as just a important thing for my own mental health and for my social health and that kind of thing. So I have to find that time. So I will make that work. But yeah, so I hadn't thought of an intern or anything like that. And I don't really know if you've got experience with that. I don't know how logistically that would work, financially how that would work. I'm not sure kind of what your setup is at the moment with yours, but it's a really interesting option.
Yeah. It's just something I was thinking about because I was like, okay, this is the bottleneck that we're experiencing where we both want to continue to do this thing. It's honestly, when I zoom out and think about the parallels, it's actually driving me, it's actually blowing my mind though. Because for both of us, we need to prioritize our 9 to 5s. And then we have like personal brands we want to do. And this is like the magic link. And I can't commit as much time to it. And I know you can't either. Like for us, this is just like therapy and it's just fun. And for me, like really right now, I'm only spending because I'm producing and not doing any of the marketing, I'm only spending like 2 hours a week, 2.5 hours a week on this. So 1 hour recording with you, which is just fun. Like I would get on the phone with you and talk once a week anyway. Who cares? It's just fun. And then I spend an hour, hour and a half like editing and producing it. And I enjoy that process too. Like I will continue to do it even if it's never makes money, just to do it because it's first of all magic. Like to have all of these recordings in real time to see, like incredible, but also it's great for our friendship. Like I've loved every single second of this. So I'll continue to do it. But I was thinking about for me with obviously, because I've been managing all three, like I've been managing the 9 to 5 and the 2 podcasts and travel full time, and how the only way I was able to do it, the only way was getting the intern, like to take on the daily travel video. And that's what she's been doing. And she manages my personal social media where she's the one posting. She's like texting me back and forth. And that's the thing is like, we need to figure out if we would decide to do this intern route, which I think is the best like technically just going to be the best solution for us. That way we can continue on, still have marketing, and you buy back some of your time. For me, how it's worked is I've paid the intern a certain amount per month to manage my personal social media. And I pay it through the business, but it's basically out of my pocket because I'm like funding the business right now. And she manages a lot. She manages like a lot for me and does a lot of video editing. Personally, like my preference is that financially it's like coming on your side just because I've already put investment into the podcast. I'm not sure comfortability wise where you stand with that as far as like making the investment into the pod that way, or if that's something we need to figure out and have it set up and to rewrite the contract too, to have it set up where if we're both funding it or if I'm funding it, like how that comes back in return. We could try to find someone unpaid, but I will say like the quality of work with a paid intern is so good because they're also committed to you also, as opposed to an unpaid person. I've had a couple of
Yeah,
them and they just are very fleety and they'll just like as soon as they get something they just go.
of course.
I've been with my intern for a year and almost a year and a half now, and I love her. Like I seriously could not do this without her. And this is the same as starting any business, right? Like you start any business and we're scaling. And that's what this is happening right now is like we've been having this podcast, which is a business technically. It's scaling and we need to learn how to delegate. We need to learn to offset things. If my intern I don't think my intern has any extra time right now, I can float it to her and see once she and I are done this pitch project if she's going to have more time. But honestly, we're doing so much with my brand. I don't know if she's going to have the time. I think during the summer she would have more time, like when she's not in classes, but it's something I can float by her. And if not, then we can look into setting up like interviews for you to see. And I don't know if they would be living under me or if they'd be like directed to me and I would be the one approving everything, or if that would be you. Or what do you think about that? What do you think in general?
Oh,
Like,
I
what are your
mean, I
thoughts?
mean, from yeah, the reporting perspective, it makes sense to report to me 100%. I think marketing is my thing, or is meant to be my thing, and I think that makes the most sense for sure. In terms of the intern itself and financially, how that would work, financially right now, unfortunately, with this trip obliterating my savings, like completely obliterating.
Ooh.
Despite how cheap India is, I still have bills to pay back home for things that I'm not using, and they are adding up. And I'm unemployed for a couple of months. Fun employed. Let's put it fun employed for a couple of months because I don't regret
Yeah.
this.
Yeah.
So anyway, my savings have been completely obliterated, and I'm budgeting very carefully every day to make sure that I come back with at least some money to survive, at least until I start earning commission, because for the first month or so, I'm just going to be on a very low base salary.
Yeah.
So I think my answer to that is financially in the future, I probably will be in a position to support that. Right now, I'm not. And I think I will only be able to say, A, if I can do it financially, and B, when I can do it financially, once I've got a couple of months or maybe a month of work in the new job under my belt, because at that point I'll have an understanding of, okay, this is probably roughly how much commission I'm going to be making based on the client base that I'm given. Right now, I don't know I know roughly who they are, but I don't know exactly which offices I'm going to be working with. And honestly, like in this job, obviously I've done it before, thank God, so I know what I'm going into.
Yeah.
It's kind of luck of the draw, and it really depends on who your clients are, which offices you get is dependent on, that's what depends on how much money you make. So I will know, hopefully I'll have a decent idea in the first month or so how much money I'll be making. And so I can't really say, yeah, as either if or when I'll be able to support an intern. Maybe that looks like at this point, we kind of park that idea and I carry on doing what I'm doing. And then in, what would it be, I guess, like late June, early July, we start to reassess and really look at that. And I think until then, I can
Yeah.
keep doing the level of work we've been doing. And also the other thing, I think once we've cleared the current workload, if that makes sense, what you've asked me to do in terms of the cover
Yeah.
photos, which is the main thing, to be honest, because I think making those and uploading those
Yeah.
I think that's the biggest
It's heavy lifting.
it's spooking me a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
the
have to
other
do it for
stuff
my
you
other one
asked.
too, and I'm like, it's a lot of work.
Yeah,
The other
yeah,
stuff, you're
it's
already in the flow of it. You're already doing it.
exactly. But I think once we've cleared that, and I'm in a position where, okay, I can upload daily and just do the cover photo there and then. Again, once we have, I think, a system or a way of doing the cover photos, I
Yeah.
literally will just be an extra, what, like 5-10 minutes as part of the creative process that I'm already doing. And right now I have time for that. Right now I have time to be making the reel, to be uploading the reel, and then I can add another 5-10 minutes to make and upload a cover photo. Again, once we know what we're doing and what kind of cover photos we're making, it's
Yeah.
just clearing the current workload. And so maybe, honestly, maybe an intern is not even needed once this is done.
Mm. Yeah, true. True.
Because you said,
Fair point.
in the future, forget about the future. Right now, once we've cleaned up the way it looks now, it would
It's
be
just the
much
same
less
thing you've
work
already
to
been
keep
doing.
that consistency. Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. I have an idea already and you're completely right, actually, now that I think about it. Because really, it's just like this one big heavy lift push to upload all of them. And then once that, it's like in the flow of it all. So in the meantime, I still think we should put up a posting for it just to see interview wise if we're open to it. And maybe someone unpaid for the summer or whatever, especially as you're gonna go back and get the new job. That's more what I'm concerned. It's like right now you're in the flow of it, but I wanted to have that backup option before it's too late. But I think you're completely right, actually. And so we'll do the heavy lifting this week. And like this week is crunch time for me anyway. Like I'm really going in right now with the pods. It's like a lot and I'm doing it and I'm into it and we'll see. But honestly, once we have like a template, it should just be plug and play and pretty easy. And then we can readjust in general. I think it's very doable. We can definitely do it. It's just going to take some masterminding and we'll figure it out. As far as like my thoughts on like the covers and the templates, I was thinking about just doing like our orange background, blue text, and just being like masterminding, blah, 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 and then have that be the cover photo, honestly. And then maybe we'll
Yeah.
throw in a photo if they're in there, if the photo makes sense.
Yeah. Okay. So you mentioned that the other day, and I think you said you basically put some text about what the episode's about or what we're masterminding. I think my initial thought when you said that was each clip is about something completely different, unrelated to the episode that it's from. And also, it's not like I'm
Yeah.
posting episode 67 followed by episode 68 clips. It's episode 67 followed by episode 3, followed by episode 14, followed by episode 70. It's jumping around because
Yeah.
that's the way social media is, right? I'm just clip farming in a way.
I'm thinking
But I
even like
think
a
if
quote from the reel. Like I'm doing like the blue
exactly.
quote where it's like
No, 100%.
talking about XYZ in the
Yeah.
whatever the video is about,
Yeah, no,
you know?
definitely. No,
And
no,
like
I
doing it
completely,
like
I
our
get that.
orange
Yeah,
background. Yeah. So I'm thinking about just like doing that and then like I have the template already from launch, so I think I'm just going to throw it into that template and then I want to see if AI can pump these out and if just be like here's the template, can you just change the thing? See if it pumps it out. If not, it should be me plug and play. Like I'm just going to get stoned as hell and like just bust through them. Swear to God, that's all I've been doing. I just smoke and at least over the weekends I just smoke and work. During the weekdays
right.
I'm just working.
But also once we have a template, what we can easily do, I don't think, just from experience with AI, I've asked AI to comb through my pages before and our page to give ideas and to do various things. From experience, at least like ChatGPT, Claude, they can't actually watch videos. They can't look at what's on your page, I think, because they have to then create an account and it just
Oh
doesn't
no,
work.
I'm going to
So,
watch it. I'm just going to tell it what to
right.
plug in.
Yeah, no, sure. But then obviously, I
Yeah.
guess the thing is it has, yeah, for 180 odd reels, it has to be done one by one, which is, I guess, once it's done, it's done. And then we have a template and easily I can go and put that template onto ChatGPT or whatever and say, this is what the episode's about, please make in a similar fashion. And then that just needs to be repeated
Yeah.
180 times.
Yeah,
Yeah.
basically. I think we can do it, honestly. I think I can get it done. It was something on my to-do list for this weekend to make all the covers. I just didn't get to it. I've been so busy with just like other other pitch stuff in general. So I may tonight, I think I'm just gonna go straight to sleep after this because I gotta get up early for work. But tomorrow I'm gonna start the chunks. I don't know And like you said, if I do it in chunks through the next like week or so, yeah, a week. How many is that? So let's call it 180, or let's call it like 200 divided by what, 7? So I got to do 30 a day. Okay. I think I can do that. I can do 30 a day, no problem. Honestly, we're going to be fine. We're going to be fine.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not worried.
I think this call has given me a real confidence moving forwards. I think actually one of my big goals coming into this year completely, and it wasn't specific, but it was just a kind of very broad goal, was set direction for the podcast, or not set direction, but like agree or figure out the direction of the podcast. And that's one of the themes of the year that I wanted, because the podcast has been amazing from a leisure perspective so far, and from a friendship perspective. From a business perspective, there's not been really much to it so far, except for posting on social media and just throwing a bunch of shit at the wall and seeing what sticks. So coming to this year, this was something I really wanted to do, regardless, was have this conversation. I didn't expect it to be quite as crunch timey, if that makes sense. I think
Yeah.
it's got to a point where everything has come to a fore, and there's been maybe things bubbling up and everything has boiled over, and we'd had to have this conversation. And I think coming out of this, I feel really good about it. I feel this is something that once we've cleared the current workload together, we can take on the world. And I think actually the workloads, just thinking about it logically, I don't know why I didn't think of it this way before. The reels, they don't take me a huge amount of time every day, and I probably can find that time in my day while I'm here and when I get back and I'm in full-time employment. And as we said, it's an extra 5 to 10 minutes. Once we have a template that works for every video, we can just do that. It makes complete sense. So I feel very good about this.
Yeah, 100%. I think it was just like the bulk of the workload seems very scary, but also if you keep in mind, same thing, like all you and me, so many different areas are going through this like crunch time period with both of our personal brands and with this podcast and with our 9 to 5s too, and life in general. Like we're both in new environments right now. Like in general, it feels very crunch timey in every different fucking area, but like in such a really cool magic way. Everything just feels whoop, next level, raising, like level up complete. But we're going through the shitstorm right now to get through the next level upload. And that includes like going through the thing, that includes doing the work, putting in the energy, putting in the elbow grease, putting in the inspired action in all of these different areas for our 9 to 5s, for our personal brands, for this podcast, for our relationships, for our physical environment, for our physical health, mental health, all these areas right now. And they feel like we're really putting in the inspired action. And it's like, we're a team at the end of the day. Yes, we have this podcast for our friendship, but we are a team, and we're going to lift this really fucking heavy weight together. And once we flip this tire over, great, we're going to celebrate and we're going to have some fucking fun. So, but it is very crunch timey right now, just I think in general. And at the end of the day, we're here to I'm here to lean on you and you're here to lean on me, and we're a team and we'll make it work. Whatever. We'll get it sorted.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, no, 100%. I have full faith and confidence in us as a team. I think mostly just because of the way that our friendship is, and also really the foundation of this podcast, which is masterminding our lives. And we've come on here, and this is such a good idea by you, by the way, to come on here and mastermind this together. Because a couple of days ago, I was like, moving forward, I think the podcast just has to be 2 friends catching up for an hour every week, which is effectively what it is, even more so timing wise.
Yeah.
And but we've come on here and actually talked it out, and suddenly everything feels much less daunting. Everything feels much easier.
Yeah, it feels like it all is like very like clicking really, really nicely into place. And it's a lot less daunting when you like can lean on the other person too, and knowing that we're like not just going through it alone, and that it's not just this one thing, it's just life in general. This is what it feels like to level up, like these big challenges, these big hurdles, getting through the crazy big heavy lifting. Like you have to lift the weight, then you have to do the thing, and then you do the thing.
No,
Yeah.
exactly.
But it feels like that in every area for me right now. And I think for you too. And it's pretty cool. Like it's a pretty magic time right now.
Yeah, no, 100%. It really feels like it. we need to get into this on another episode, more routine episodes, maybe the next time we talk. But my psychic reading was absolutely insane. Obviously, I spoke to you about the last psychic reading that I had, and it was the same guy, but it was
Yeah.
pretty much exactly a year ago. And my mum told me that he's about to retire. So get your booking in. So I booked him in, and yeah, it was incredible. But one of the main things he touched on, he was like, "You're at an amazing place." He said that you're probably at the best place you've ever been in your life. And he said things are about to go crazy for you. He basically was going on about the business and about all these different things that he could have Googled the business, of course, but there were certain things he said that we can get into another time that were just like incredible, and really, it made me really excited for my future. So I think, yeah, as you've said, and as I've said today, we're both at this kind of a crossroads, but it feels like no matter which direction we go, it's very, very exciting. And we're both in a very exciting place in life. It's funny how we sync up, isn't it?
It's amazing, honestly. That's why I swear to God, this podcast is magic. Like this is the reason I will continue to do it, is because I swear to God, it's pure magic. Like it's just we're absolutely speaking some shit into the universe, and it just happens. It's actually crazy. I don't know. It just feels so good right now. I'm just so excited. Yeah, I'm putting in the elbow grease and the muscle work, and I know you are too, but it feels like it's happening. So
It
crazy.
is. It is all happening, and at the right time. You said at the start of the year that you were committed to pitching your podcast and to getting this all done now, this time of year was what you were working towards. I said exactly the same about my stuff at the start of the year, and look where we are. It's all coming to a boiling point at the right time.
Yeah. And then same thing for our physical environments too. Like me swapping over to LA and you swapping over to India, like happening to be at the same time for basically the same amount of time. I don't think it's a coincidence. Like that this time in these new physical environments just feels so special and so magic. And we're like, you're really connecting with Savita's family, with your partner, and me, I'm like really connecting back with my health and my career and shit like that, and it's just like feeling so good. And it's just for me at least, like we have so much shit to talk about on a normal episode about how much I'm obsessed with LA and just absolutely I'm so happy here. Like I'm just having the best time ever and feel great, and life is just it's insane. Like I'm just loving it so much. I'm so happy just being here. So we can get into it on another episode, but yeah, it just feels like a really cool time right now, and I'm really happy that we can like work through this together. And what a special like 75th episode. Honestly, I hope I hope all the listeners enjoyed us like working through some shit together on an episode.
Yeah, as I said, the podcast, this is what it's for. It's about masterminding, and I feel, yeah, you're right. What a way to celebrate the 75th episode, to literally mastermind some pretty major shit related to the podcast itself, and we've come out the other side of it after 58 minutes.
Oh, feels so good. I like when you said that thing where every time I get off a call, I just feel, yeah, feels so
Yeah,
good.
it's a nice feeling.
Oh, all right, y'all. We'll catch you guys next week on Mastermind Moments. And yeah, anyway, we'll catch you next week. Okay, bye.
Bye.
We hope you enjoyed this episode.
Don't forget to subscribe, leave us a review, and follow along on social media.
If you would like us to help you mastermind something in your life, please send us a message.
We'll see you next week on the Mastermind Moments podcast.